night.
Gosh,
Once again, Tuesday night. Yes. This is what we do. What up, great people?
What is this thing that you do with your hands?
I don't know. It's just, I talk with my hands.
I
talk with my hands. So
this
what
is,
up, great
this
people?
Is what we do.
What up, great people? Party people.
I'm not gonna do this.
Party people.
I'm not gonna do this.
It's your boy AD.
And your girl D Gang. What's up, y'all?
I'm a Hope dealer. Know what I'm saying?
We just hating.
We right back at you once again this beautiful Tuesday evening.
That's right.
And we are going to be having a really good conversation this evening, and it will be about In the Pursuit. So we'll be talking about the happiness, the pursuit of a committed relationship, the pursuit of love, and all of the adversity and different circumstances that make knowing what's at the end of the rainbow is the wonderful gift to us all. So Tuesday,
period.
Tuesday, twice the advice.
Not about to play with him. All right.
Tuesday, twice the advice. Tuesday, twice the advice. All right.
And I promise that alcohol has not even settled in yet.
No, not at all. But it's a wonderful thing to be with you guys once again. And we just want to go ahead and get right on into it. We won't hold up with any delay. So, sweetheart, in the pursuit, what is something that you could definitely say you have dealt with, but all the more glad to have been able to overcome?
Oh my gosh. So let's see. In the pursuit, I must say that one of the things that I have kind of dealt with, I guess is what you would say, in the adversity of being in this whole relationship thing is overcoming my own flaws.
Okay, that's a good one.
That has definitely been a huge hurdle in the pursuit.
Okay, all right.
Getting out of my own, overcoming fears and all of the other good stuff. Oh my gosh, it's been tough.
It's been real.
Very. It's been very real. It's been very real. So I pose that same question to you. What has been
I think overall seeing the evolution of myself and having other people to acknowledge the change in me. Because self-gratification don't stand for jack.
It really doesn't. And it's a shame that it doesn't.
But when other people can say to you, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you doing what it is that you do. I'm so proud of you and where I see you at right now. For me, it's like doing the unthinkable. And being able to say, hey, man, I'm a dad. I'm a husband.
You're a what?
I'm a husband.
You're a who?
I'm a dad.
And a what?
And
wait, one more time. You're a who?
And go ahead. But I'm all of these things that honestly I never really knew I had the potential to be, and other people probably never saw me being. And that is something that's wonderful. So the accomplishments are small on some scale, but in others they are monumental. And to some other people, they are definitely monumental. Some people want to hear a sermon, other people need to see one. You feel me? So,
and some people are truly destined to be one. Some people are truly destined to be the testimony. Some people are really destined to see that miracle happen. Some people are intended to endure, to be the living example that people need to see.
Yeah, no doubt. I think as I look at a lot of people that are coming together and becoming intimate on different levels and saying, hey, we're going to be together. We want to get married. let's set the bar so high and at a certain standard. I think it's important for them to see other people as examples. When we came up, some of our only examples were Uncle Phil and you know what I mean,
and Aunt Viv,
Hey, listen, or Carl Winslow and Mrs. Winslow, Mr. and Mrs. Cosby. Yeah. I'm saying Cosby, but they weren't they were the Huxtables. Pardon me. But those were the examples that we had.
Those real life examples. I'll say, for myself, I had other examples. My mom and dad were married.
It is good.
My mom and dad were married, but they were the example of what turned out to be the exact type of relationship that I did not want.
Okay. Well, my mom was married for a short time. She was married, and what I saw a lot of her dealing with was a lot of emotional distress, as well as physical abuse. And throughout the years, I saw how it took such an effect on her in her pursuit of happiness, or in her pursuit of what she thought would be the ideal family
or life for her.
Yeah. And I never wanted to be that. For a long time, I didn't want to get married. For a long time, I felt like marriage was just like a bunch of bullshit. And it wasn't something that I wanted to be involved in, because even the examples that I did have of married couples, I felt like the men were crazy and the women were stupid.
Right.
So as I got older, I then kind of understand it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I then kind of understood the union between two people, and having someone to be there to go through different things and obstacles and adversities with. Excuse me. Kind of was like, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? You boyfriend and girlfriend to become husband and wife.
That's the hope.
That's the anticipation. Oftentimes. Yeah. So I myself kind of like had this idea.
Once upon a time, that was the hope. That has shifted now.
I won't necessarily say that it has shifted. I think that a lot has changed, and with us being the ideology that a lot of us have shifting because of how dumbed down they've done us as a society as a whole. Okay. People's images and versions of things is totally different. I remember once upon a time where it was like you married because it was something that was it wasn't necessarily something that you wanted, but even the women and men, they didn't marry for love. Mm-hmm. They married for stability. He would go and work and get what he needed to have a wife, and he started looking for one. And she was married to a man who could give her a certain lifestyle and provide for her.
I think it was tradition. I don't think it had anything to love or not love or stability or not. I think it was truly tradition. It was expected that by a certain age, you were to be married.
Right. But now,
and if you were not to be married, you were almost, a throwaway.
Now, the idea of marriage is tainted to where if he is married, he has money and he can be your sugar daddy, or he can be your side dude, or she can be your side chick.
No, if he's worth marrying, he has to be either sugar daddy material or, completely filthy.
He's got to be able to buy you a Birkin bag and get you a Benz or a Bentley.
Correct. Or the opposite, where it's if she's worth marrying, she has to be, a Cardi B, a Nicki Minaj in stature, a complete trophy, yet she can be empty.
Right. I remember back in the days, my grandfather told me, he said, the woman you choose gonna take you through hell, but the woman who chooses you, now that's who you deal with. And I was like, but granddad, what if she ugly? You know what I mean? And like my Mexican friends say, maybe she got a good heart. But now you're not looking at people for the values that they have as far as core values. You have people that are going after a person because of a physical connection or what it is that they can provide for them monetarily. That they're not willing to do for themselves.
Okay, so we've got a couple of viewers that are on here right now. What are some of the things that you look for in a partner? What are some of the things that you feel like if someone is worth marrying that you need in order to marry that person? I would greatly love to hear.
We're saying marry, but let's not even let's
relationship.
take the relationship.
Okay.
Let's take the marriage equation out of there.
But
let's say when it comes down to a relationship,
okay, what
is
the
something
necessities.
that's substantial for you to say, you know what, I can deal with this person and we can go to the next level.
Okay, drop a couple of your necessities. What are a few of your must-haves in order to be in a relationship with someone? I'd like to be able to look at what you feel is necessary in order to be in a relationship with someone. My husband and I have our own opinion, but we've been in a relationship for the last 9 years, almost 10 years.
Right.
So we're completely dumb to what the market is like right now. We're just assuming off of what it is that we see, but that's an outsider's opinion, right? So we're looking, if you guys just tuned in, if you don't mind, drop in the comments what it is that you're looking for when you're attempting to find a mate or attempting to be with someone. What is your must-have?
When you're in the pursuit, what is on the must-have list for you? Yeah.
What's on your must-have list?
Because when I got off the market, I was just looking to be somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking to be somebody, and I felt as if you were, you know, cut for it, you know, you would stick it out. If not, then hey, you know, it's not no hard feelings and on to the next. But consistency. Come on.
Yo, we got that twice. We got consistency on the live.
That's right.
On Facebook as well as on the YouTube. So I'll say this for myself. Before I met my husband, I prayed a prayer. It was not the Sierra Russell prayer. Okay, I don't even know if that's a real thing. But I do know that I did pray to God for him to send me the man that he knew I needed. You know, I'm very spiritual, and religion has played some part in that, but it's more of a spiritual connection. And for me, I understood with the teaching that I had that Eve was of Adam.
Okay.
And so because of that, I prayed to God to send me the man that he used to mold me.
That's very deep. That's quite deep. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I wanted to be a part of something that was going to be exceptional, that was going to be real.
What else is on your list of must-have? So I've got the consistency, and I must say I think we both agree on that consistency thing. But what is it that you are looking for in someone that you're dating or interested in
your partnership?
What are your absolute must-haves to decide if this is someone that you want to deal with or not?
Right. Not when he takes you to the popcorn machine, you say, "Oh, he got money."
I just thought I would say, in my prayers, you don't know my life, so please don't judge me.
Stability, chemistry. I would
always say
easy on the eyes for sure.
Okay, so wait a minute.
Personality.
Hold on. That was one of my prayers.
Okay.
I didn't understand why I had to feel like
integrity.
I didn't understand why I had to feel like in order for me to deal with someone, he had to be so much older than I was, or old, or ugly. I didn't understand. You know, I felt like I was a beautiful person on the inside. I didn't always feel so beautiful on the outside, and I don't always feel beautiful on the outside. But I have always felt like I am beautiful on the inside. So I couldn't understand why it was necessary for me to deal with an outwardly ugly person. So as a part of my prayer, it was like,
trust.
You know, make them a little soft on the eyes if you don't mind, God.
All right.
Here, let's take a look at this. So we've got we got a good one too. You'll put it on us tonight.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I can't even. Okay, there it is. It says, I look for stability, chemistry. Of course, easy on the eyes. That was important to me. I don't know about nobody else. I speak for me. Personality for sure, because it's nothing like being with somebody that's bland.
A lame, yeah.
I ain't gonna say lame. We ain't gonna say that. But you can have personality and still be kind of lame, because I am.
I
don't
think
do a lot.
you'll agree to some different things,
That
a
ain't
little
nobody
naive to a few others, but definitely not lame. You know what I mean? You have to be able to keep up with
a
running
well-rounded, manly man.
Okay.
Consistency and affection, which is also big. And someone who's not afraid to express themselves.
Right.
Definitely. We've got integrity, which is
trust.
huge, and trust, which is just huge.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to all of these different things that you're saying, first and foremost, let's just touch the basis of integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do the first time, not because someone is watching you,
but
or
because
for
it's the right
the
thing
applause.
To do. Yeah.
But doing something that is the right thing, because that is something that is innate, that's intuitive. And certain things aren't within some people. So when you find a person that does maintain a certain integral role in a relationship, then you will see trust. Gotcha. You will see consistency. Mm-hmm. You will see all of these things kind of go hand in hand. It's just like love and respect. You can't say that you truly value someone and you love them if you don't respect them to the same degree.
Correct. So I just want to make sure I stop my husband for a quick second, because he's been saying this thing for a couple of weeks now, and I want to make sure that I'm very mindful of the message that we're spreading. I want to be very careful to say some things are not in some people. You see how you say that?
Correct.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I don't agree because I feel like a lot of the times people are circumstances of their environment. People are circumstances of the things that they are exposed to, or even that they come from. So when you meet a person, you may feel that them being trustworthy isn't in them, or them being consistent isn't in them, or them being an integral person is not in them. But love truly does overcome all things. So I will become something that I never was, or never even thought that I could be, because the way that I love you makes me feel like I can do things I've never done before.
Okay. I have to take that. And it's important for me to definitely hear you out and listen to you thoroughly so that I can catch certain things when you say it. The reason that I say that is because it's like one failed attempt to another.
Right.
If you're with a person and you love them to have certain things and for them to be to consist of certain things, when they don't, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a failure in the relationship, but it's a flaw within that person that you have to identify and be able to get an understanding of why they do certain things.
Gotcha.
I had a very good conversation with my aunt. I don't know, I know she got to love me to life because she spends so much time pouring into me and watering these things that are necessary for me to become the person that I'm still becoming. But shout out to Aunt Nicole. And she said to me today, when a person shows you who you are, oftentimes there's so many telltale things that you may not pick up on, and you have to allow them to shed those things. You have to allow them to profess those things so that you can see them beyond that stuff. But certain things you're going to have to identify it at the root and call it for what it truly is. So if I see that I'm in a relationship,
been that person of integrity that was trustworthy or consistent.
Consistent, yes. Integrity, no. Trustworthy, no.
Yeah, we've been here all this time. What made you feel like you could stick it out if that wasn't necessarily how you always felt?
I made a commitment to myself.
Okay.
I made a promise to myself. Not to say that if it was not to work out, that it wouldn't be my fault. Mm-hmm. But I made the promise to myself that I would work harder, mm-hmm. that I would try harder, that I would give more in this relationship than I've done in any other. Okay. So I put my best foot forward. I put my big boy pants on, and I've been standing in the paint with you. Yeah. And regardless of what it is that we've faced, because in the pursuit of our own happiness, we've had infidelity, we've had lust, we've had lies, we've had deception. miscommunications. We've even had physical altercations.
Mhm.
And we are still here because we have continued to shed a lot of things that were unnecessary. And that was part of the reason why we started the YouTube channel and started Twice the Advice, because we're now in a place in communication and in our relationship where I think we understand why all that stuff happened.
Yeah. I think one of the most monumental things that you said was that you made a commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
When you and I got together, I had made a commitment to myself that I would not let myself get in the way of my relationship. And it just so happened that that relationship was with you.
Okay.
I would not allow my fears, my phobias, to cause me to quit prematurely.
I could, all right. I don't feel that that was something that was necessarily exposed very early in the relationship.
Mhm.
But I do understand that you've definitely been consistent. So I acknowledge that, and that's part of what makes you who you are to me now as my wife. When I was trying to figure out what it was that I was going to do, as far as being with someone with children and coming from my own background, it was just kind of like, how do I get to a different place? I see myself in a different place, but physically I'm not there, and I'm not able to really place my hand on it.
Mhm.
So I wanted to do the opposite of what it was that I had done before,
Mhm.
to see what it was that I would get. Because, like they say, when you know better, you do better.
Mhm.
And then I learned that if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you've always got.
And it was so true.
And that was definitely something that was true. And I'm grateful for the impact that had on me, because it allowed me to take a step back and to see myself in a different light, so that I could see how people perceive me,
Yeah.
as well as what it
Yourself.
was that I needed to see about myself.
Yeah.
So in the pursuit of happiness, a lot of relationships dwindled. Me and my mom didn't talk for a long time. Me and my dad didn't talk for quite some time. And I mean, those were different reasons, but I had to disregard all of my emotions with that, to try to focus and channel my energy when it came down to us. Us being together was definitely a challenge from the initial.
Yes.
And not very long after, it became even more challenging, because we were together, but we were separated.
Yeah.
It was just,
there was a disconnect. There was a
emotional detachment.
An emotional detachment.
Yeah. So we were physically apart, and then we came back together, and we were all in love and lovey-dovey and this, that, and the third. And then there was an emotional detachment. And after we got married, that emotional detachment came about again.
Yeah, we went through that several times, that emotional detachment, and you could be with someone and still suffer from that emotional detachment.
Oh yeah, mine somewhere else. It happens during sex. It happens during communication. Yeah. It happens during conversation, where you're talking to a person and it's just like, I really don't want to hear this one. Like, yeah, okay, what's up? Shut up.
And I will openly say that my husband and I have two different communication styles.
We speak two different love languages, and have for quite some time.
We have two different communication styles, and I am naturally an introvert. A lot of people don't really even know that about me. A lot of times I come home and I'll be very, very reclusive.
I know.
But my husband is the extrovert, so he is much more naturally vocal. He's much more emotionally expressive, where I usually don't even like to touch on emotions if I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
If it's anything other than joy or excitement, it's like I don't even want to talk about it,
right,
at all. And so that has caused us some issues.
I want to ask you a question.
Cool.
What has allowed you to be more comfortable in expressing your emotions when you are the complete opposite of your spouse? What has brought that change about?
It's taken a couple of different things. It has taken a lot of close calls. We'll call it that. A lot of
Okay.
really close calls where it was like, if you can't talk to me, if you don't talk to me, like, this is it. And that was tough for me because I still struggle with facing certain emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But being that I married someone who is so emotionally expressive, I've been in a relationship with someone who is so emotionally expressive, I have to put aside what it is that I like and what I'm comfortable with to meet you at a level that you're comfortable with.
Okay. In our companionship, you've dealt with quite a bit of opinionated people, and even some circumstances that weren't the most comfortable.
Yes,
Uh,
a couple more than I would have cared for.
and not to necessarily say that we have to discuss them, but how can you to stay grounded and on a different level with your pursuit of what it is that you wanted for yourself?
One thing is that I have always understood in this relationship that even though, we've been one for quite some time, in order for us to be a successful one, we have to be successful individually. In all of these different outlets, in
Talk your shit,
communication, in
talk your shit,
value, self-esteem, and all of these other things. So
okay.
Even when things were uncomfortable, I would always kind of remind myself that you were a person before I came into your life.
So let me get this straight. What you're saying is that if you are more comfortable and a better version of yourself,
yes, as an individual,
then it allows you to be a better person to your partner. And that so far has been what we've been able to finally dissect,
yes,
and put into emphasis.
So I don't want to put like too much on the table in that degree, but for a long time, my individual pursuit made you feel as though I wanted to be an individual. And it's like, I don't want to be an individual. I just want to be me, whoever that person is, because I hadn't found that person. Even up to the time where we got together, to me, in my opinion, we were very kids. Young. Yeah. I'm not gonna say we was kids. You were 24, I was 25.
We were kids.
I'm not gonna say that because we already had kids. So I'm not gonna say that.
Babies with babies, because we still had a lot of growing, and there was a lot of. But that's
normal. I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna say that we were kids, because even as young as we were still very responsible within our own way. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I don't say that we were kids, because for me, you guys may not know this, but my husband is, what are you, like a year and a half younger than I am?
You're Puma. You don't quite make it to be a cougar.
Whatever. Anyway, he's like a year and a half younger than I am, and he's the first guy that I've talked to or taken serious, for that matter, that was younger than me. And that was because he was much more mature than a lot of the guys that I had dealt with that were my age or even older.
She liked I was about my hustle, and very outspoken. She never had to wonder what it was that I was thinking.
And that was like the best part of it for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a mystery man when it comes down to what it is that I have to say, or what it is that I want you to see, or I want to show you. If you disrespect me, it's probably gonna get a little ugly. Outside of that, I'm pretty much just as chill and relaxed and chipper and giddy as all the time. And
that's what we gonna call it.
And then there's other times, you know what I mean, where I will cuss you out in the church.
BT Dubs, he's a Sagittarius, I'm a Gemini, so we flip-flop all the time.
She flip-flops all the time. I'm not seasonal.
I'm
pretty much straightway all the time, unless you do something that is completely ridiculous. And it's just like, bro, where is your brain?
No lies.
You know, like,
lies.
Where is your brain?
All
Where
lies.
is your shout it where your head at?
All lies.
Anyway,
Sagittariuses do not get enough credit for as much flipping as they do, because y'all
we're not finna do that. What I want to say,
look, period. Khadijah's a Gemini. Sorry.
As I was saying, we have been in the pursuit of this thing for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And what we have been able to identify within each other is that in the pursuit of being together, we've had to pursue our own individual happiness, our own individual sanity, and be able to bring that back to the table to share with one another.
So, let me have a moment. I have a very unhealthy relationship with Will Smith. He's been my husband from before him and Jada got married. So we've been at this for a long time. My husband understands. He gets it. So don't worry, you're not in the middle of anything that you don't know about. But a couple years ago, probably like 2 years ago, Will Smith posted a video talking about how him and his wife had to find their own individuality, and that they understood that you can't make another person happy. There's nothing that you can do to physically put onto them happiness.
Right.
If they are not happy on the inside, it doesn't matter what you do on the outside. You can buy them flowers, you can take them on trips, but if they're unhappy on the inside, then it doesn't matter what you do, they're still going to be unhappy. And when he said that, it was so pivotal for me, because I felt like that's kind of like where we were. Not now, understanding that during that time, he and Jada were just kind of coming back after being on a hiatus for so long and trying to find their way at that point. I didn't know that, and that's not necessarily where we were, but I understood how important it is to be your happiest as yourself, to be able to bring that happy person to your relationship.
She took that approach, and for a long time I felt like I was incapable of making her happy. It didn't matter what version of myself I somehow, some way, we were bumping heads or not meeting each other directly at the halfway point.
Yeah, we weren't
in the middle of the road. So I came to her and I decided that we didn't want to use the term happy anymore.
Yeah,
I came to her and I said that we were going to be progressive.
Yeah,
that we were going to be consistent.
Yeah,
and that if we could be progressive and we could be consistent, if we were achieving. If we were achieving
as a couple
and as individuals, that we could share that with each other, and it wouldn't necessarily have to bring about happiness, but that joy that we had, we could harvest that, and when necessary, we could go back to that and just kind of like, nurture each other with that joyous time, with those joyous moments.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of first times together. We've taken trips and we've done some pretty exciting things with one another. It's been a while since we've done something new for the first time in a while, but
it's coming.
We just little things, not necessarily to where it has to be some expensive trip or things like that, but she took me to Chipotle, and I've never been to Chipotle, and it just as simple as that is to some of you guys, but that was our first.
Yeah.
We went to Rhode Island. It was a first for the both of us.
Phenomenal place.
We have done so many different things. Yes, parasailing was amazing. She talked me into it.
I did not talk you into anything.
But because she was like, "Would you go parasailing?" I was like, "Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I want to jump out of planes, so why not?" She's like, "All right, cool." And we get there and I see it and I'm like, fuck no, I'm not doing that.
What was worse is that I asked if he would be willing to go parasailing. I had already bought the package for us to go parasailing.
To go.
I had already bought it. And I was like, babe, would you want to go parasailing? He was like, don't know. I guess. And I was like,
But-
oh, okay, great. So in 2 weeks, we're gonna head out. We're gonna head out to the lake, and we're gonna go bear selling.
And I completely missed the 2-week part because I didn't figure it out until she was like, "We're going north," and I'm like, "All right, cool." So we get in the car and we're going north, and we end up driving maybe about an hour and 2 hour and 40 minutes or so, and we get out here, and I'm like, "Oh, well, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that."
And it was so great.
It was amazing, and but I say that to say that each of doing all of these different things that were something that other people were looking at and saying, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I would love to do that. You guys are living your best life." We still weren't necessarily happy with one another.
No.
We still were not able to value our places as individuals.
Yes.
Let alone to be together and say like, "Oh yeah, you know, that's bait."
Some of our best times like together were on our road trips.
Oh man, we have some bomb road trip
and it
stories.
was so crazy because when things got kind of crazy between he and I was like, we need a road trip.
Yeah. And we would literally just get up and jump in the car and drive to Delaware and go get some clam chowder and just talk and listen to the music. And sometimes we didn't even listen to the music. Sometimes we just rode in silence until we were able to communicate or willing to communicate. You know, sometimes you have to drop the P in pride and let it ride. And these are all things that we had to go through to develop a formula and get us to where we were actually consistent with each other. Because our most consistent inconsistencies were that we would have problems. We would literally have it out.
I think though we would constantly like say things one to the other, and wasn't that what the person was saying was wrong. It's just we were not able to take it at that moment. Like I couldn't take him saying, I think that you should go out by yourself more often. I couldn't handle that. That was too much for me. And then for me to turn around and say, you know, a year and a half, 2 years later, babe, I think we should focus more on being friends than being husband and wife. We were saying some of the same things, just not at the same time.
Right. Even where I said, you know, if you can't give me 100% of you the way you're asking me to give you 100% of me, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Yeah, you know, get out of the way so that I can find the person that truly is willing to be with me, all of me, and I can be with all of them.
And he's so full of Watusi because there's nobody who has the patience for him like I do. No one.
I mean, there are others, but I really don't want to date my mom.
She don't have the patience for you. She hang up on you often.
That's because I say other stuff to her. And I don't like her breasts. But anyway, we have finally come to a place in our relationship where we can speak to other people and speak life into their circumstances. So rather than you know, try to be all uppity, we have a blueprint and we want to share this with you guys. And not only that, we're hoping that we can allow you guys to get a look into our lives and into our relationship and see that this is something that is tried and true. We've been through the fire.
We have been through some things. We've been through some things individually.
Yeah.
We've been through some things as a couple. We've been through some things as parents. We've been through some things as children. Yeah. We've been through some things. And the reason why we feel that we're at a place where we can kind of share that is because we were able to get beyond and get through what we've gone through without having such a negative connotation behind it.
Yeah, there's no malicious feelings or
none
negative.
No.
If you guys only know the half, and we got a lot more to get into as we continue you know, sharing with you guys, but we've seen our share rocky days.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of appreciative that I didn't quit.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of grateful that we didn't give up. We fought it through. There's been so many different times where it was just like, if I go to sleep one more night, you know what I mean, feeling the way that I feel,
yeah,
tomorrow is that's it.
Yeah.
And hell, I've slept in the other room, not only in previous relationships, but in this one as well, and as well as our marriage. I've had my things packed for months and lived out of suitcases. And we had to learn how to speak each other's love language, but we also had to teach each other how we wanted to be loved after first identifying within ourselves as individuals what love truly meant to us and how we wanted to illustrate that love and how we wanted that love to be illustrated.
Correct. And in the process of that, you know, we have our children, and that has also played a very pivotal role in how we look at our relationship.
That's right.
I always say, kind of like, I grew up my childhood with my father and without my father. So my mom wasn't a single parent all my life.
Look at Junior.
And that also affected how I felt about marriage.
Okay.
But my husband was raised as an only child, even though he was not, and he was not raised by his mother or his father. And that also affected how he felt about relationships and marriage.
Yep.
And so with that being said, we've really kind of looked at our children as our focal point where we wanted to quit, because we think about what it would cost them.
You remember the Facebook post where the old guy talks about the old car?
Yeah.
And he said, you know, it took me so long to get it to this point. And there were so many different times where I wanted to quit. There were so many different times I wanted to, you know, give up. I wanted to get a different car, get rid of this car.
Yeah.
But for me to be where I am now, with it, after putting in so much work, you know, I see the value in it. And I remember this crazy girl telling me we were married a year and we were going to our second year, and it was like, oh, happy anniversary. And it was like, yeah, for sure. And she's like, we got the first year down. 4 more to go. And if we can make it 5 years, we will be all right. And I was like, man, fuck that 5-year rule. If you the same person tomorrow after this anniversary, home girl, I'm liable to get the hell on from around you as far as I possibly can.
And what's worse is that when we came to our 5-year anniversary, as we were approaching our 5-year anniversary, so that was last year.
Yeah.
I said to him,
it got crazy.
If this is what it's going to be like, bro, you can get up out of here now. We don't even need to spend 5 years. Let's tap this out now. Don't make no sense to hit these 5 years. Let's cut it. Let's call this a wrap.
Let's call it a wrap.
And we can say that we tried our best and it was phenomenal.
And it's not even no big deal. It's not even no hard feelings. You can still call me every now and again. You can hit me up. You know what I'm saying? You want to get that thing popping? We'll get that thing popping.
And I was like, all right,
we don't have to keep on.
Because we're not going to keep doing it.
Yeah, we ain't going to play with each other's time and emotions no more.
And we made it to our 5-year anniversary.
And it was like the day after. Remember? Do you remember how the day before we were literally like at each other's throats?
Oh my God.
And then the day of,
it was like, oh my God,
it was just like,
I just love you so much.
It was like, hey, the day after, we had one of the most passionate sexual experiences. That was like, it was some things that I didn't even know I was capable of doing when it came down to satisfying my wife. But it was so much benefit to us kind of sticking it out. And now here it is. This is 6 years that we've been married, and we're at year 9 going into year 10. And it's like this thing is getting so smooth.
Yeah, it's getting so much better now. And I often have to tell men and women alike that you get to a point in a relationship where it
just kind of mellows out. Like
part
it
of
either
my
makes sense or
part of my analogy, but it sucks more than it blows.
okay.
It pulls more out of you than what it puts into you at some point.
Come on, say that.
Okay. You get to a point where it sucks more than it blows. And so many people get to that point where it sucks and they just pull a cord. They like, forget this.
Yeah.
And I must honestly and openly say that in the pursuit of this relationship, as hard as it has been, I have very, 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 very few, if any at all, regrets of the things that we went through because of where we are now.
I ain't gonna say that I ain't got no regrets when it comes down to some stuff, but I don't look at them to say that it's your fault
Mhm.
or it's my fault.
Mhm.
I can kind of be accountable for what role I played in just about any circumstance. And
Myself as well.
When the rubber meets the road, like I've said to you many of times, I just really and truly don't want to have to watch you be good to someone else
Mhm.
or watch the best in you flourish with someone else. You know what I mean? So with all of the time and all of the energy and the effort that I have put in, I'd be damned if I don't cash out. You know what I'm saying? Like
for me, the person that you are right now is not the same person that I met or married. And with all of the effort and energy and time that I've put into helping you become the man that you are, oh, I'll be damned if another woman reap the benefits of that.
That's what's up.
Oh, I'll be damn! I had to catch Shorty in the parking lot. She gonna catch these hands because baby girl.
So
that's fine.
In the pursuit,
yeah,
we have weathered the storm. And we encourage you guys to weather the storm. We encourage you guys to be spontaneous. We encourage you guys to be strong, to be firm, but not demanding.
The part that people won't tell you is that we encourage you to be a risk taker.
Come on.
We encourage you to defy the odds. We encourage you to stick with it when it hurts.
That's right.
I always say that a woman that is in labor rarely ever stops and pushing her child out because it hurts.
Come on. You're giving birth to something.
You're birthing a beautiful thing. Relationships are situations and they have to be birthed. They have to go through those hardships. Otherwise, you'll never know if it's actually worth keeping anyway. So you have to endure even when it gets uncomfortable, even when it gets to be very hard, even when you don't like the person that you're dealing with, because if you don't stick with it, you'll never know what greatness could come out of you.
Talk your shit.
Because of it.
And that is definitely something that goes along with consistency. You definitely have to find the balance in order to make sure that you are giving a person what it is that you have as an expectation. Make sure that you're, sexy but sophisticated. Make sure that you're masculine but compassionate. Make sure that this goes for both parties. Make sure that you are just how about the thing that I read? It says that testicular fortitude and intellectual fortitude are two worlds apart, but it takes the perfect balance of the two, to make you a man. And that's what the difference is with men and women. Women need that balance. That's why they say the good girls like bad boys. And they kind of need that rough around the edges, but still smart and intellectual Tupac of a of a guy, who can really and truly take her there. And
I think that it's also important to say that you have to be just as much of a talker or a listener as you are a talker.
The both.
People do a great job at talking, but a lot of people suffer gravely and greatly at listening. Listening is a skill, not a will. So you can will to listen, but if you don't practice that and hone in on that skill, you'll never actually reap the benefits of what it is that people are trying to give you. There are so many jewels and gems that are out there in the world.
Ooh, say
And
that.
if you are not a great listener, you will
Miss
pass
it.
up so many awesome, awesome opportunities that people are giving you. I mean, they're just giving you such phenomenal opportunities if you're just willing to listen. Because if people know that you're willing to listen, they will truly pour their heart out.
So in the pursuit, make sure that you're a good listener. Make sure that you are consistent. Make sure that you are affectionate. Make sure that your passion is put into the right places,
Mhm.
that you're able to illustrate how it is that you want to be loved, as well as what you want in return, and or how you want to love, pardon me, as well as what it is that you want in return.
And let me take a second and say this real quick, y'all. So it's 2020, and you all know that we've gone through a lot this year. Okay. Um, we couldn't hide the melanin in our skin if we wanted to.
Come on.
So I'm saying this to say it is so important that you take the time to invest in yourself and find yourself and know yourself and treat yourself
And know your worth.
So that way you are not falling victim to circumstances. My husband and I have both dealt with depression over the course of this relationship, and it is difficult. But I want to say this as I look at the amount of Black and brown people that fall victim to circumstances with the police, that fall victim to unfortunate circumstances. You know, they're killing themselves, they're killing other people, they're having these crimes of passion.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take a minute to say that your mental health is everything.
It's important.
And if someone that you're dealing with is causing you your mental health, sever that tie. Otherwise, you'll sever yourself.
Yeah.
You have to understand that your mental stability is just as important
As your physical.
as the air that you breathe.
Hmm.
It is important for you to breathe. If you can't, you will die. If your mental state is not in a well place, you will cost yourself your life.
True. True indeed.
So it is super duper important that you find your balance, you know, buy yourself your crystals, find yourself a good church, meditate, you know, find yourself a good set of friends, whatever it takes to help you to find your center.
Mm-hmm.
Find that, keep that, and hold on to that, because that incredible understanding of a whole person in within yourself is what makes you so much more of a value to any relationship.
That's right. And with that being said, I'm not going to add anything additional. We're going to go ahead and thank you guys for joining us on this wonderful, miraculous Tuesday night, doing what it is that we do and what we love to do. So you know what to do, right? Like, share, subscribe.